محمد نبينا بنور هدينا محمد نبينا بنور هدينا من مكة حبيبي نور سطع في المدينة محمد نبينا بنور هدينا محمد نبينا بنور هدينا من مكة حبيبي نور سطع في المدينة قلبي وفؤادي هاموا بك يا هادي قلبي وفؤادي هاموا بك يا هادي زادي وزوادي هدي محمد نبينا محمد نبينا بنور هدينا محمد نبينا بنور هدينا من مكة.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد الصادق الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who guided us to his path, and we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who gave us the gift of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who taught us all the morals and the good characters, and also helped us by explaining what's going to happen towards the end of this life. In the last two sessions, we talked about an introduction about the old minor signs that happened around or during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then we touched on probably more than half of the minor signs. And inshallah we are going to conclude today, and we will discuss a couple of hadith that talk about the probable age or time of the Muslim Ummah in comparison to the Christian and Jewish Ummah. It will be a little bit interesting. And I thought with that I would pick up one of the hadith narrated by Sayyidina Ali karramallahu wajhah, Amir al-Mu'mineen. He said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من اقتراب الساعة إذا رأيت الناس أضاعوا الصلاة. It's going to be a few of them repetition from last time, but inshallah we'll mention so that we mention the whole hadith. So one of these of the minor signs of the end of this life is إذا رأيتم الناس أضاعوا الصلاة. أضاعوا الصلاة meaning they did not follow their conditions or arkan or these things. Like for example, people who in 1 minute can finish 4 rak'ahs, probably not even knowing how many rak'ahs has prayed, or didn't give all these different arkans its time and conditions. Or ada'u salah, meaning they forgot about it, they got distracted by everyday activities nowadays, and there is a lot. Wa ada'u al-amana, and we did discuss that. Al-amana could be a common word, or al-amana, which is something that a person has trusted you, which in another hadith was described as becomes like ghanima, like something you have won from that person rather than protected until you pay it back. وَاسْتَحَلُّ الْكَبَائِرِ, and kaba'ir is the major sins, and mashallah we see it around everywhere. وَأَكَلُ الرِّبَى, we all know that. وَأَكَلُ الرِّشَى مِنَ الرَّشْوَى, to pay people money just to have your things done. وَشَيَّدُ الْبِنَاءِ, شَيَّدُ, most probably the meaning of it related to what we mentioned before, طَوَّلُ الْبِنَاءِ, made them high rising, and we see this all over the place. Alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah. وَاتَّبَعُ الْهَوَى, الهوى, corruption or self-corruption. وَبَاعُ الدِّينَ بِالدُّنْيَا, يعني the dunya, this life became a priority over their akhirah. And again, this is happening a lot. وَاتَّخَذُوا الْقُرْآنَ مَزَامِيرَ, They take the Quran to sort of singing the Quran without even knowing the meaning of it. And in relation to that, we mentioned before, كثرة القراء. There will be lots of Qur'an. Go on the internet and put Quran Kareem. I mean, more than 50 of them, I don't know their names, but inshallah, many of them, they are very good voices. But this is a sign. That doesn't mean bad or good, but the Prophet Muhammad describes what's going to happen. وَاتَّخَذُوا جُلُودَ السِّبَاعِ صِفَافًا. And we see that a lot, in fact, people who use the prepared skin of rare animals or animals with fur being used, and in fact many times they use it as sort of elegancy or indication of richness. وَالْمَسَاجِدُ طُرُقًا. And meaning people don't come to the masjid to pray, but they are passing by the masjid to wash their hands or use the restroom or eat. But not necessarily the niyyah is not to come and spend time for dars or for salah. وَالْحَرِيرُ لِبَاسًا, silk, we mentioned that. وَأَكْثَرُ الْجُورِ, injustice. وَفَشَى الزِّنَا, adultery, we mentioned that. وَتَهَاوَنُوا بِالطَّلَاقِ. And again, we touched on that last time, where people start either using the word عَلَيَّ الطَّلَاقِ, and it's very common in our communities, easily like that, and this can really lead them to a major disruption in their marital life. Or in another thing, the percentage of talaq has been very common, and we gave percentages last time. It's really becoming like 70% in certain Muslim countries and 60%. وَأْتُمِنَ الْخَائِنِ وَخُوِنَ الْأَمِينِ. They trust the unworthy person. وَخُوِنَ الْأَمِينِ, and the good, trustworthy person are not trusted. وَصَارَ الْمَطَرُ قَيْضًا. We mentioned that also last time. The rain, instead of being a source of blessing, becomes a source of hardship and calamity. Alaykum salam. وَالْوَلَدُ غَيْضًا. The son, instead of being a supporter to you and helper to you, becomes sort of hardship on you. And again, we see that example a lot. وَأُمَرَاءَ فَجَرًا. The leaders will be corrupt people, and their وَوُزَرَاء كذا, their secretaries or assistants are liars. وَأُمَنَاء خَوَنَا. The people who are take care of financial are not trustworthy. وقلت العلماء وكثر القراء وقلت الفقهاء. There will be, as also we mentioned that before, there will be lots of scholars, but they don't have the knowledge, or they don't have complete knowledge, and they will be asked فَأَضَلُّوا وَيُضِلُّوا. They will lead people astray. وكثر القراء. There will be lots of people, readers of the Quran Kareem. واتخذوا القينات. القينات المغنيات, the singers. There will be lots of singers, and mashallah, I cannot even keep track of. Every day there is new people. I always ask, who's this, who's that? واستحلت المعازف. There will be which is the instruments of entertainment. وشربت الخمور, which is drinking alcohol. There are only two, we mentioned last time, 2 or 3 Muslim countries where alcohol is not allowed. We named Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Pakistan, right? What about Indonesia, Malaysia? I'm not sure.
No, they allow.
They allow. So, so only 3 countries out of... Iran is forbidden? Oh, okay. So 4 countries, 4 Muslim countries. Yeah. وعطلت الحدود, which means people will be no longer abiding by passing the punishment for the major sins. وَنَقَصَتِ الشُّهُورِ. And I think, though this is pertinent to what we mentioned before, that the time will be short. And we mentioned 2 things. Either because people will have more advanced means of transportation, so the distances become shorter, or there will be no barakah in time. And many people feel that when we were young, the day was really long. You could achieve lots of things. Nowadays, the whole year passes by. And time is relative, and time is makhluq. No. Right. So as Abu Abdullah said, to the extent that people, the whole year passes like a month, the whole month passes like a week, and the whole week passes like a day. What day becomes like a sa'a. وتشبهت النساء بالرجال والرجال بالنساء. MashaAllah, we see it a lot where ladies try to dress like men or do their, or sometimes I ask my kids just to make the point, I said, is this a man or a woman? Wallah, sometimes I cannot tell. But I wanted also to pay their attention, يعني, in an indirect way. وحلف بغير الله. And this is really very common nowadays. وحياة أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أمي وحياة أمانتي وحياة مش عارف إيش. There is no swearing except with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is one of the basics. We don't swear except with Allah. Though, having said so, that doesn't mean you have to swear every minute. Because again, it's very, very unrecommended to use or to swear. Only when it's needed, like in court or if there's a major thing people need to confirm, or when conflict. Yeah, exactly. جزاك الله خير عبد الله. وشهد الرجل من غير أن يستشهد. يعني now in the old days people ran away from fatwa, ran away from shahada. And nowadays there are people they don't want their opinion, but yet they push themselves to give, and shahada usually shahadat zur. يعني they don't even say the truth. وكانت الزكاة مغرما والأمانة مغنما. We mentioned that zakah becomes very hard on the self. People, if they pay it, it becomes really like as if he is losing money, and he is not. And the man will follow will obey his wife, and will disobey his mom, or he will be loyal to his friend, and but not loyal or bad in relationship to his father. وصارت الإمارات مواريث. وصارت الإمارة أو الإمارات مواريث. So that's also, we see it a lot, even which means each leader or each head of a country passes the ruling, that responsibility to his successor, to his son. And we see that not only in kingdomships or in countries where they are ruled by a certain royal family. You look around nowadays, even the republic system, everyone was working to pass it to his son, Mubarak and Ali Abdullah Saleh, and Syria already. And mashallah, everybody was preparing, even Gaddafi was preparing his son for everybody. So it's not based on knowledge and being pious and being a good person. It's based on just mirath. We mentioned that سب آخر هذه الأمة أولها وأكرم الرجل اتقاء شره. We mentioned that. وكثرت الشرط. الشرط من close to الشرطة, and there are two different meaning of that. Either الشرط are those people who are the republic guards, quote unquote, or whatever guards, or that are meant and trained to protect the system. Or versus the ulama said, or كثرة الشرط, or الشرطة, or the police people are people who are, because there will be lots of corruption. This is why we needed more of these people. So it's an indirect indication that there will be lots of corruption at that time. وصعدت الجهال المنابر. People again who don't have the knowledge, they will be giving khutbah and giving fatwa and giving advice and talking without restriction. ولبس الرجال التيجان. They start putting crowns like the old days of the, but they said تيجان العرب عمائمهم. There is another saying. And we see it also a lot now. All these leaders, they have all these big, sophisticated. نعم. Yeah, العمائم. وضيقت الطرقات وشيد البناء. The valleys or alleys will be, or the roads or the pathways will become more and more tight, either because there will be lots of buildings, وشيدت البناء, or because people will be crowding that by sitting there and not giving these roads its rights, as we know in the hadith. So there will be people sitting there, making it really tight on people. We see this tightness everywhere, mashallah. واستغنى الرجال بالرجال والنساء بالنساء, which is homosexuality and lesbians. And We see it, mashallah, a lot, not everywhere, but a lot in Western countries, even in Muslim countries. I've seen it, and it's becoming more and more common. My last visit, mashallah.
هو هنا بيتكلم مش على المسلمين بس.
طبعا.
العالم كله.
على العالم
لا
كله.
سان فرانسيسكو بتدي تصريح لايسنس وكاليفورنيا بتدي لايسنس ما هو.
Right, yeah. Who even some states allow them to get married. Yeah. وكثرت خطباء منابركم. يعني you will have lots of خطباء for صلاة الجمعة.
عليم اللسان.
نعم. وركن علماؤكم إلى ولاتكم. And this is talking about those what we call علماء السلطان. There will be lots of them, and mashallah we see them a lot. You can nowadays we had to listen to them frequently, and these are people who have the knowledge, they studied, but unfortunately they don't have the iman or enough iman to say the truth that will save them in the day of judgment, because ulama are very important people. There is a hadith that's mentioned that أفضل الأمراء على أبواب العلماء وشر العلماء على أبواب الأمراء. يعني the best of umara, of leaders, politicians, are those who are close or on the door of scholars, meaning they are close to them, they ask their opinion, they follow their instructions, they try to be within the limits of the Sharia. And the worst of scholars are those who are like just doing their best to make that emir happy by giving whatever fatwa he needs or giving whatever opinion he needs, and we've seen several examples in these days, and there will be plenty in the end of this life.
سيدنا سفيان الثوري
نعم.
كان يهرب لما طلب القبض عليه عشان يبقى بجوار الأمير ويهرب.
نعم. فhe's talking about these. فأحلوا لهم الحرام. They make the حلال حرام وحرموا عليهم الحلال. يعني they whatever they want, halal becomes haram, haram becomes halal, whatever this people wants. وأفتوهم بما يشتهون. They give them whatever fatwa they ask for. وتعلم علماؤكم العلم ليجلوا به دنانيركم ودراهمكم. يعني people will be learning, and of course when we talk about العلم here العلم الشريعة, not العلم الدنيوي, the scientific knowledge, where we are talking about the Sharia knowledge. People will study that not because they are interested to know and they to elevate their iman and to benefit and to guide. They learn that to find a job, get a salary, and believe it or not, in the last 20 years in the high school, if you score high, you go medicine, engineering, science, whatever. If you get barely passing marks, they tell you go Sharia, go study Sharia. Yeah, I've heard it a lot.
Traditionally, it used to be the opposite. The smart people who study the Sharia.
Exactly.
The smartest people in the society and community, they are
Right.
the ones who...
Right, and Sharia needs some person who can can associate and have intelligent judgment when you have difficult matters.
هي ملحوظة في زماننا دلوقتي إن معظم ما شاء الله الدكاترة والناس اللي خريجين كليات عالية جدا، أطباء أو مهندسين، وبياخدوا شريعة بعد كده.
نعم.
زي الدكتور محمد اسماعيل مقدم، ده دكتور ميديكال.
نعم.
وبعد كده خد ماجستير في الشريعة، متفوق في الشريعة أكتر من أي حاجة تانية.
نعم. We have Dr. Amar Abdul Kafi. He's a zoologist. Yeah, PhD zoology. Yeah. Many of these people who study, they are scientists and then they become Sharia. And I think, their iman become very, very, really powerful because you can know the greatness of Allah through the science, والتفكر والخلق والآخرين. طبعا every person has to have minimal knowledge in Sharia. نعم. But it says also فاتخذتم القرآن تجارة. يعني people uses the Quran to make money. I will read this or read in there to for the sake of getting ajr for that.
القرآن reading ولا المعنى هنا إن بيجيب المقرئ يدفع له $1000 و$5000 عشان يقرأ في الصوان، ده بينطبق عليه؟
اتخذتم القرآن تجارة. It could involve both of them. Yeah. وضيعتم حق الله في أموالكم, which is zakah. We said it becomes sort of a maghram, hardship on people. And in fact, this is the one, if you look around, even look at yourself and your family only. How many of us really spends the time to calculate and pay the zakah?
ممكن أعلق
أبو عبد الله.
النهارده الزكاة والضرائب اللي هي المكوس عندنا في الإسلام حرام المكوس. لو ما دفعتش الضرائب يحبسوك ويعملوا
نعم.
عليك قضية وحجز. لكن لو ما دفعتش الزكاة ما حدش ياخد باله ولا له علاقة بالموضوع. أهو.
نعم
حد-
نعم نعم. وصارت أموالكم عند شراركم. Our money is controlled by, mashallah, the worst out of us. And what's happening nowadays show us all lots of corrupt people who control this money. وقطعتم أرحامكم, which is to sever the relationship with your kinship. And we talked about it also before. In fact, how many of us, the other day I was walking and I remembered several cousins of mine, I haven't even talked to them for 10 years maybe. I don't even know their phone numbers. Is it something? It is bad. I mean, but at least the close relationship, you should at least on a Eid, on Ramadan, on any occasion, at least a phone call if we are far away from them to keep that sort of a kinship.
والله مش الدسم بس.
نعم.
يعني.
تفضل.
احنا ساعات بنسأل على أهالينا يقول له كيف حال عمك؟ يبقى ابن عمه وساكن قدامه في نفس الشارع نفس البيت. يقول له والله ده أنا بقالي 6 أشهر ما شفتوش.
Yeah.
والله بيتعجب قطع صلة الرحم دي.
نعم نعم.
علامات.
Yeah, and that's one issue. And the other issue is when certain people or brothers get into conflict, and before he dies, his wasiyah will be, don't ever talk to your cousins, don't ever talk to your, he's dying, he's going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then his last wasiyah is to sever that kinship, which is mawsula bil arsh, arsh al-Rahman subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a very important issue that unfortunately we forget about it. وشربتم الخمور في ناديكم ولعبتم بالميسر وضربتم بالكبر والمعزفة والمزامير. Again talking about drinking wine and gambling and music, instrumentation. ومنعتم محاويجكم زكاتكم. يعني people who are in need of the money are not giving the money. Whether it's amwal zakah or sadaqah, they are not even so. وَرَأَيْتُمُوهَا مَغْرَمًا. Again, when you give the sadaqah or zakah, it's to you it feels like as if it is you are paying a punishment or a ticket or something. It's not, because this money is not yours. This money is Allah's money that has to come out and to certain people. وَقُتِلَ الْبَرِيء لِيَغِيظَ الْعَامَّةِ. يعني people will go and kill an innocent person just to punish a group of people. واختلفت أهواؤكم وصار العطاء في العبيد والسقاط. يعني there will be enough corruption that the leaders of the community will be the bad people, the low people who don't even qualify. وطففت المكاييل والموازين. Again, in terms of buying and selling, people will not fulfill the weight, or what do you call it, the measurements. Yeah,
ويل للمطففين.
exactly. ويل للمطففين. ووليتم أموركم السفهاء. السفهاء, again, our leaders will be those people who has who are corrupt people. Other things, ظهور الفحش والتفحش, which is also described as بداءة اللسان. And I explain that by those people who between the word and word use the if language, or in Arabic you can listen to these people, he will curse his mom in the middle like it's fun. I heard that a lot in my last visit. There is cursing in between in their sentences, like the F word here. This is one of the signs. This is بداءة اللسان. And ظهور النساء الكاسيات العاريات. People, ladies who are dressed but that dress doesn't cover anything. So described by the Prophet as kasiyat, ariyat. They have clothes on themselves, but it's showing everything of their body. Alaykum salam. يكون السلام للمعرفة. Wallahi, I noticed that a lot. When I came the first time to do my residency here in 91 to Hawaii, I was used to say salam alaikum to your neighbors and friends, whoever you pass by or come across, even in the elevator. And then I started doing that there when I came to the United States. So my roommate was my classmate before. So I mentioned that to them. He said, don't do that. People will think you are crazy, or nobody says hi to anybody. So it became, and then I started to notice it. In the past, you just pass in the street, you meet somebody, regardless who is that person, salam alaikum, alaikum salam. You know him, you don't know him, but just the mere fact you pass by, then you shake it. Nowadays, people don't say salam alaikum or greet each other except للمعرفة, according to the hadith, only if they know that person. وتتقارب الأسواق. The malls become very close. And that can indicate either physical closeness, which we see in every exit you have a mall nowadays, or because كثرة التجارة وفشوها. There will be lots of trading and businesses. Becomes very common. This is why there will be lots of malls and نعم نعم أحسنت. أن يكون المال العام نهبة للجميع لا يتورعون من نهبه والغل منه. يعني the public money or public properties, everybody wants to just snatch something from it, and mashallah we see that in our countries. Lots of millionaires and billionaires. Okay, فشو القلم. That's very really fascinating when he say فشو القلم. فشو القلم كثرة التصانيف والكتب. And that's amazing because I read a study couple of years ago how much publication, of course not in Middle Eastern countries or Muslim countries, but in the Western countries as much. They really publish thousands of books every day. And then the newspapers, you go to your mailbox just in 24 hours, see how much stuff is there. So for sure, القلم indicates there will be lots of publication, lots of books, lots of journals, magazines that will be. This is a nice one. ظهور السيارة. Did the Prophet ﷺ talk that there will be cars? Close enough. The hadith, it says سيكون في آخر أمتي رجال. At the end of this life, there will be people يركبون على السروج. They were riding السروج. السروج is what you put on the animal, الدابة. كأشباه الرحال. But it's something, سروج looks like a transportation means. ينزلون بها على أبواب المساجد. They will be parking it by the doors of المساجد. نساءهم كاسيات عاريات, which we mentioned before. Their women are dressed, half dressed. So the certain scholars said this is an indication of السيارة or cars or whatever. تحاصر العراق ويمنع عنها الطعام والمساعدات. The siege that was done against Iraq is one of the minor signs of the end of this life. And it already happened during the days of Saddam Hussein. It's probably still there. And then تحاصر الشام, also بلاد الشام. And Sham in Arabic means not Syria or Syria. In Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Palestine, these are all considered بلاد الشام. And ويمنع عنها الطعام والمساعدات. The hadith says يوشك أهل العراق أن ألا يجبى لهم قفيز ولا درهم. And then يوشك أهل الشام ألا يجبى إليهم دينار ولا مد. And these are indication of money, financial things, and supplies or food supplies. And it happened to both. بلاد الشام, you know, قطاع غزة was under siege. Syria was under siege, except they have, and Iraq. And ظهور الغلاء, things will be expensive. And we see that also every year. تضخم, we call it تضخم. So whatever you could buy with $1 nowadays doesn't buy a thing nowadays. And then he talks about فتنة تدخل كل بيت من بيوت العرب وغيرهم. Fitna, temptation. 15 years ago when I was preparing that, I thought it was the TV. Now I think it's the internet with Facebook and Twitter or whatever. And this is a fitna because you have access to anything on these. You really have to watch it, especially when you have kids. So فتنة تدخل كل بيت من بيوت العرب. That's my explanation.
العرب بس.
وغيرهم and other people. And then there will be هدنة ومصالحة بيننا وبين الروم. There will be a sort of an agreement between us and أهل الروم. أهل الروم means the West. And so I will conclude with one hadith before we talk about what's the age of the Muslim Ummah. And that hadith, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "أعدد ستا بين يدي الساعة." 6 things. موتي, the death of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. ثم فتح بيت المقدس, which we already talked about, the conquering or opening or retrieving the Jerusalem. ثم موتان يأخذ فيكم كقعاص الغنم. 2 major deaths. ثم استفاضة المال. There will be lots of money. حتى يعطى الرجل 100 دينار فيظل ساقطا. You give the person $100 dinars and he's still not satisfied. ثم فتنة لا يبقى بيت من العرب إلا دخلت. Fitna that we just mentioned, and probably I don't know, TV, internet, satellite, فضائيات, I don't know these things. ثم هدنة تكون بينكم وبين بني الأصفر. There will be a treaty, agreement, peaceful agreement between you and the people of the yellow hair, which is the Western people. فيغدرون, they will betray you. فيأتونكم after that with 80 raya, 80 armies, under each one is 12,000 people. We're not going to go into that details. There are the other details, and that will lead us to Armageddon and other these things, but I'm going to skip that part because there are more information in the other books. طيب. So by that we probably have mentioned over 90 minor signs of the end of this life. If you have a question, otherwise we will discuss something interesting. Okay. I hope no questions because people are following what I'm saying but not sleeping. Okay. طيب, I'm going to start when we talk about how long the Muslim Ummah will last in this life. And there, people might think that nothing has been mentioned about that, but in fact there are 2 hadith that I'm going to read for you, and then we're going to do some mathematics. So those who are good in math, I need them to be awake with me. The first hadith is in Al-Bukhari عن عبد الله بن عمر أنه سمع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول, the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم was saying, إنما بقاؤكم فيما سلف قبلكم من الأمم. Your stay in this life compared to the stay of the previous nations, كما بين صلاة العصر إلى غروب الشمس, is like the time between Asr and Maghrib. He says, أوتي أهل التوراة. The people of the Torah were given the book التوراة or Torah. فعملوا حتى إذا انتصف النهار. They worked until the middle of this day, and then they stopped. فأعطوا قيراطا. They were given their pay. ثم أوتي أهل الإنجيل. And the people of the Injil were given Injil. Talking about the Christian people. فعملوا إلى صلاة العصر. And so from the midday until صلاة العصر. ثم عجزوا, means they got tired and stopped. فأعطوا قيراطا. ثم أوتينا القرآن. We were given القرآن. فعملنا إلى غروب الشمس. فأعطينا قيراطين. فقال أهل الكتاب أي ربنا أعطيت هؤلاء قيراطين وأعطيتنا قيراطا ونحن كنا أكثر عملا. قال الله عز وجل هل ظلمتكم من أجلكم من شيء؟ قالوا لا. قال فهو فضلي أوتيه من أشاء. We were talking about how come you gave them double the ajr versus us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, did I underestimate your ajr? They said no, this is God's blessing, He gave it to whoever He wants. But that's not the important. But the most important part is relevant to our topic is the first 3 sentences. The other hadith also روي in البخاري في صحيح عن أبي موسى رضي الله عنه, this time عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, مثل المسلمين واليهود والنصارى, the example of Muslims, Jews and Christians, كمثل رجل, like a man, an owner, a landlord. استأجر قوما, he hired people يعملون له عملا إلى الليل. He got people or workers to work for him starting that day until the end of that day, which is sunset. That's a day. فعملوا إلى نصف النهار. So the first workers he got, they worked until midday, which is around noontime. فقالوا لا حاجة لنا إلى أجرك. We don't need you. We got tired. That's it. We don't need your أجر. فاستأجر آخرين. So he brought different workers. And they continued working for him the same project. بقية يومكم ولكم الذي شرطت. فعملوا حتى إذا كان حين صلاة العصر. For they worked until صلاة العصر. قالوا لك ما عملنا. Then they got tired and they said, that's it. We don't need our أجر. You got whatever we have done for you. فاستأجر قوما. So he rented another people. فعملوا بقية يومهم حتى غابت الشمس. واستكملوا أجر الفريقان. They got the whole pay at the end of the day, which is the pay of the other people, because they finished the. So that's the example of Jews, Christians, and Muslims. There is another hadith that says that between the Ba'that Sayyidina Isa until Sayyidina Muhammad, which is considered, well, by definition, the ulama said the time of an ummah is from the time when their prophet is being given the divine revelation until the next prophet. Not the death of the prophet, until the next, when another sharia comes. So the Judaism starts with why we say because Judaism starts before Sayyidina Musa, right? But why we are counting from Sayyidina Isa? Because in this hadith he said Ahlul Torah. So Torah was revealed to Sayyidina Musa. So we're talking about their starting time from when Sayyidina Musa was given the Torah. So that will be our timing. And the time, their time ends by the prophethood of Sayyidina Isa. And Sayyidina Isa, which is the Christian time, ends by the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So these are the examples or the three periods. And we know that the time of the Jews is double the time of Christianity and Islam, according to this hadith. And there's another hadith that says the time between Christianity to the prophethood of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is 600 years. And also they said the Jewish ummah from the revelation of a Torah, it's around a little bit over 2,000 years. So if you subtract 600 years from 2,000 years, which is a Jewish time, from the 600 times which is Christianity, then you will end with 1,400, around a little bit above 1,400 years. So that's the estimated time of the Muslim Ummah. Now that's not the end of the thing. Because I went back and I tried to find out when Milads or the revelation to Sayyidina Musa, and it was there. I have a book called the Atlas of the Prophets, and it talks very nicely, very colored, and by a Saudi author, I forgot his name, and it gives you really dates of each prophet. And the prophethood of Sayyidina Musa started approximately, that's not very 100% sure, is around 1447 before Christ. Okay? So if you subtract 600 years, which is Christianity, it will be 947. But there is a hadith that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to increase the Muslim ummah time by half a day. طبعا a day of Allah's days. إن يوما عند ربك كألف سنة مما يعدون. One day to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is equal to 1,000 days of what we count nowadays. So that's around 500 years. So if you add that to this, it will be 1,447. So that's the number I came up with, which is close to what they came up in that book, around 1,400 plus. Yeah, so it's 1,400 plus. What year are we now?
32.
We are 1432. 1432, so it's very close, brothers. So, yeah, 1432, you're right. I got that from... So, if we are talking about 1447 or 1450, it's probably in the coming 13, 15 years, so you might witness major changes. And it is happening, wallahi. Yani, as the ulama said, all the minor signs has happened. 15 years ago they said except qabd al-ulama, and there was فعلا lots of scholars at that time, and soon there were lots of them dying in all the Muslim countries. Real ulama, we've lost them in the last 10 years. There are very few left, like Sheikh Yusuf Qardawi and other people that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala extend their life. So having said so, we are very close to start the major signs, and the major signs, there's a connection area which is Dhuhur al-Mahdi alayhi salam, which we are going to discuss in the next halaqa, and we will discuss, we divide the major signs into two also divisions. The first, signs that have events that happen on the planet with changing the natural things or laws that we deal with, and then the other half deals with the universe, like khuruj al-shams min al-maghrib, and then etc. etc. Inshallah, we'll have 2 more sessions to finish this series. Maybe the next 2 halaqas will be more interesting because they are all stories. And
الصغرى كلها وقعت.
كذلك يقول العلماء أن الصغرى وقعت في الماضي، قالوا ما عدا قبض العلماء، ولكن الآن حتى قبض العلماء أغلبها قد حدث. وجزاكم الله خيرا.
بارك الله فيك، الله يكرمك. جعلنا من
جميل إن شاء الله. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. اللهم اجعل أحسن أعمالنا خواتيمها وخير أيامنا يوم أن نلقاك. ربنا إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. ربنا إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. ربنا إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم نسألك بفضلك وخيرك وعظيم سلطانك أن تغفر لنا ذنوبنا وتكفر عنا سيئاتنا، وأن ترزقنا الجنة، وأن تعيذنا من النار يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أسألك علما نافعا وقلبا خاشعا ودعاء مستجابا، وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.
محمد نبينا بنور هدينا، محمد نبينا بنور هدينا، من مكة حبيبي نور سطع في المدينة.